Hi, this is Keith Duncan with Fitness Finally here in Georgetown, and on behalf of the Scott County Public Library, I want to welcome you here for virtual fitness training number 2. If you haven't seen the first virtual fitness training, I recommend you take a look at it. We are going to be building from one video to the other. Now, if you didn't see the other one, don't think you can't do this. It'll just get you some more instructional information on proper form. Remember, we want to do this injury-free, we want to use proper form, and we want to use the appropriate resistance, whether that's our body weight, bands, weights, whatever we're using. Why? Because we want to do it injury-free, and we know proper form, proper resistance will get you good results. One thing I need to stress on this is, I mentioned in the first video, if you have not gotten cleared by your physician to exercise, touch base with them first. It's very normal. They want their people to exercise. They know how important it is to being healthy. However, I don't know your circumstances, and you may have some conditions that require doctor's intervention or some modification of what we're doing. So touch base with them, get their clearance, then you can go ahead and exercise without any concerns and just get after it. So that having been said, let's get our warm-up going. You may remember last week I showed you a very simple little, it's either a gentle warm-up or active resting. It's called a Kozon. It's just rocking from side to side. We're just going to do this for a minute or so, warm up the body a little bit. You don't want to start with your body cold and put big demands on it. So doing this, we're just going to loosen up the muscles a little bit. Let's do some squats. And if you remember from last week, our proper squat form, feet are shoulder width apart. First move is not down. It's the hips going back like you're sitting down in a chair. So nice gentle squats. Remember, this is as much a squat as that is. If your knees won't let you get down that far, work whatever range you have available. 100% good. And we get a half dozen or a dozen of the squats in nice and easy, and some jumping jacks. So jumping jacks, once again, very nice and easy. I have a lot of people who can't jump. So here's your jumping jack. All we're trying to do, increase the respiration, warm up the muscles. There are very few muscles that are not involved in that movement. And we're going to do some windmills. So here, as I tell people, anywhere between the knee and the ankle is fine. You can't get to the ground, don't worry about it, and don't try. That'll come with time and with practice. So, like I said, last week we started with our squats. We're going to go with a variation on this. This is called a sumo squat. With your sumo squat, the main difference is going for a much wider stance as opposed to shoulder width. We're going to get it nice and wide. We're going to crank the toes out just a 15 to 30 degree angle. Hands on the hips and down nice and slow and right back on up. Now, you may have a tendency to feel this more in the inner thighs and back in the glutes, and that's where I would expect you would be feeling it. Once again, there's a sumo squat. There's a sumo squat. Depends on what your knees can take, what feels good. So we want to get 6 to 12 of those in, nice and easy. Anytime you're using the legs, you're using one of your largest muscle groups between the legs and the glutes. Tremendous oxygen demand. Will get your heart rate elevated. That's a good thing. Lunges. I think we looked at those a little bit. In fact, I know we did last week. I'm going to show you a variation on this that's even easier. So for your lunge, if you remember, it was a big step out, body's nice and upright. You simply bend both knees at the same time and sink straight down. And right back on up. Once again, partial range lunge. If that's what you got, those count. Don't think they don't, because it absolutely is working those muscles. So, now with the lunge, normally you're stepping out, you're stepping back, you're alternating sides, or you're doing a walking lunge. I'll creep you out, I'll come closer to the camera each step. Okay, walking lunges. We're going to do static lunges. Feet are here. The feet never move. Simply bend the knees, right back on up. Remember, we want a wide enough stance so that when we bend these knees, that knee stays pretty close to on top of the ankle. If you don't bend that back leg and just the front, we push the knee out in front of the toes, puts a lot of stress on the knee. So, static lunges right here. People ask about hitting the floor. I try to get within about 4 inches of the floor. If you put the knee on the floor, you've given the muscles a rest. So we don't want to do that. Nice and easy. Static lunges, let's go for 6 to 12 on each side. And then we're going to get right into everybody's favorites. I know, you guessed it, push-ups. Did these last week. Review. Right here, hands slightly wider than shoulder width. Back here, slowly lower down, 90-degree elbow bend, back on up. Now, lest you be concerned about this, I understand the average guy in this country can't do 5 push-ups. It's not real good. It's one thing to be there, it's another thing to stay there. Now, once again, getting down on the floor doing push-ups like that is incredibly difficult for many people. So, if you have a wall in your house, you've got your wall push-ups. Hand position, I've actually got them just a little high. I'd drop them about shoulder high, 90-degree elbow bend. We don't want to get in here, puts a lot of strain on the shoulders. So limited range of motion, 90-degree elbow bends is what we're going for. Easy up and down. From the knees, from the toes. You want to get advanced. Put your feet up on a bench. Puts more of the body weight on you. You can do them hanging upside down. There's all sorts of different ways that you can do push-ups. Start easy. Be smart. Window ledge, wall, couch, chair, floor. Anything you want to use as a surface will work fine. Just be sure that it's safe, it's secure, and it won't tip over on you when you start doing push-ups. I love these shoes, but man, they untie all the time. So, in your warm-up, I showed you jumping jacks. And they are an excellent move. Great for cardio conditioning, great for total body toning. You've got your step outs. You've got the full jump. I'm going to show you, I have about 10 variations of that move. I'm going to show you 3. Well, we'll even go with 2 today. I think you'll enjoy them. 1, half jack. I work with a lot of people who have damaged shoulders. They can't do that. Arm won't go up there. Well, I can't do jumping jacks. Sure you can. Here's a half jack. Hands don't have to come up any higher than the shoulder. Nice and easy. You can do it step out. Now, you want to increase it. Get some light weights. Now, these are 3.5 pounders. Do not do this with 50-pound weights or 40-pound weights or 25-pound weights unless you are like psychotically great condition, NFL football player, SEC football player. Light weights work very well. No weights work well also. So either way, listen to your body. You probably have a pretty good idea what feels good, what doesn't. If it doesn't feel good, stop. Modify it, make it a little bit easier. If you ever have any questions about this, I'm right here in Georgetown, Fitness Finally. Give me a call. I'll help you if I can. So, half jacks, jumping jacks. My favorite is called a power jack. And from here, you drop down into a squat with the arms parallel to the floor and right back on up. Now, part of the challenge is the arms. It's very natural to do this. That's not what we're looking for. We want you to stop them right here where they're parallel to the floor. Not down here, not up here, right there. Takes a little bit more focus, a little bit more effort. Make you more aware of the body. Helps to build body awareness, which is a very good thing. So, anytime you want to get the heart pumping, you want to get a nice little 1 or 2 minute workout in, jumping jacks, half jacks, power jacks, put some sumo squats in there, you've got yourself a nice little 3-4 minute workout. You can do it any point in time during the day. Most of us have heard of crunches. Crunches were very popular. Last I checked, the world champion in crunches could do over 10,000 crunches in an hour. Now, this individual also has a gut on them. So if you're looking for nice flat abs, crunches are not the answer. There is a move called a plank. And just like a board is called a plank, you ever hear pirates walking the plank? Well, it's just a board sticking out there to the ocean and the sharks. So a plank is very much like that. You want your body nice and flat, like a board, like a plank. So a couple different ways to do it. I'll show you the real basic ones. Number one, just very much like push-up position. Here it is. There's your plank. A couple points of order. Number one, if you notice, I got a pretty straight line between the ankles and the shoulders. If your hips are up here, it's because you are taking the tension off the core, which your core is probably happy, but it's not getting the benefit. So right here. Now, remember I told you with the push-ups, nothing wrong with doing them from the knees. Well, here's a plank from the knees too. Very nice, simple move. So, want to get to the point where you can hold a plank for up to 2 minutes. I have a lot of people who start out with 10 seconds and then they build from there, and that's fine. Another variation on the plank, you have some problems with the wrist, carpal tunnel, or just overuse or sore, no reason. Forearms down on the ground, same thing, nice and flat here. We don't want those hips up in the air. Get a good straight line. If you start with your hips up in the air and start to lower them down, pretty much when you have them in the right position, you're going to feel your core engage, and you're like, yeah, that's it. It's a good way to self-check yourself as far as your proper form on that. Now, you say, okay, plank's great for the core, push-ups are good, we're looking to do something that maybe up the challenge a little bit. So in this particular case, what we're going to do is a walk-out plank. Sounds simple, right? Put your hands down on the floor, walk out, there's your plank, or there's your plank, either way. Ta-da, walk back up. That's one walk-out plank. So, half dozen of them. What you'll find is that walking out movement really challenges the upper body. We'll get the respirations up, and if you do this for a minute, you'll probably get 4 to 7 of these walkout planks in. Now, if that bothers you doing that, guess what? Here we go. Hands on the floor, knees on the floor. We walk it on out. We either do a push-up, we do a plank, we walk it back on up into our upright position. So, that's your plank, your walkout plank. I'm going to throw a mat on the floor. I have a lot of people who have trouble getting on the floor. So any of these exercises I show you, hey, guess what? You can do them on your bed. You can do them on the couch. You don't have to get down on the floor. But because they are exercises where you're lying down, there are some advantages they offer as far as ease, particularly if you've got back or leg issues. So the first one is called an inverted mountain climber. Some of my people call it the dead bug because it kind of looks like you're a dead bug on the ground. Your inverted mountain climbers, you're on your back, your arms are just doing this, reaching, and your legs almost like you're pumping a bicycle, just in and out. And anytime you're using all your body, you're going to start getting your heart rate up. Does not have to be fast. You can go as fast as you want. Sometimes going slow is every bit as challenging. So, inverted mountain climber. Give yourself 15 to 60 seconds on that. If you've done it and you're enjoying it, take a breather for 30 seconds and do a second set of 15 to 60 seconds on it. This next one, I love to play the theme song for Jaws when I ask people to do this. And the reason is, it's what you need to do if Jaws is coming at you. Flutter kick, swim away. Flutter kick, ideally, I like the hands under the hips, the legs straight out. You're kicking from the hip. You're not bending at the knees. You're kicking from the hips. Now, this is good. Works very well. Core's working, legs working. Here's the challenge. For a lot of people, that's not suitable for their back. So, options and possibilities. One, single leg kick. There's no reason you can't keep one down on the ground, kick the other. Most of my clients find that very comfortable. Some still don't. So here's what you can do. You start with both legs back up in the air, and you do the flutter kick here. And you can start working your way down. If you get to here, it's like, boy, that's too much. Back it on up. If, on the other hand, you can get down to here, work it there. The location of the legs is not as critical as the fact your back is protected, because if you start out doing that with your legs up in the air, doing it this way, I guarantee you over time, you'll be able to lower those legs down, which is going to strengthen the core, help to strengthen the back. Great combination. So this next one, anybody who has ever seen the snow, anybody who has ever done snow angels knows this move. Snow angel in the snow, when you're doing this with your arms, it looks like wings in the snow. And when you're doing this, it'll make it look like an angelic robe. So that's your move right there. Now I'll tell you, that's really going to work the core. Once again, a lot of people, this is a little too intense. So guess what? Here's half a snow angel. You're just working the upper body. Very nice move to promote flexibility, range of motion. Or you work the legs. Or you work a combination thereof. Just the right side by itself or the left side by itself. Moving your body is the important thing. If you have to modify it and make it easier to start out, there's not a thing wrong with that. I have seen people start out with incredibly easy moves, and a year down the road, they're doing the advanced moves. Why? Because they started, they tried, they pushed themselves, they made progress, and they were consistent. And this is the thing to remember, is the consistency of effort. We all wish we could go to the gym one time, pump up, man, we're going to look great for the rest of the year. Unfortunately, you and I both know it does not work that way. You're better off to work out 5 minutes, 10 minutes, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, than working 45 minutes on Monday and not getting back till the next Monday. Particularly starting out, you want that consistency of effort. So, you're starting, if you've gone through video number 1 and number 2, you're starting to get a nice little repertoire, good word, or a bag of tricks. And as such, you can mix and match. Just because the first workout had squats and didn't have sumo squats, you can switch them up. There's no reason you can't do push-ups one day, walk-out planks the other day. There are all sorts of options and possibilities as far as putting these together. A couple quick reviews I want to hit because I think they're very complementary and hopefully you picked up on them last week. One is a standing cross crunch. Very easy core move. The other thing it does, balance. Guess what? There's a balance move right there. You're also working the core. This is your cross crunch right there. Now, you want to ramp it up. When you crunch, don't put that foot back down. Just keep the foot up off the ground. Now, I always tell my people, the foot finds the floor before the face does. So if you're feeling unbalanced, hey, you can start with this without even bringing that foot up. Or the foot just comes up an inch. Why? You're working that balance. It does not have to be that full range move. Hey, that's where we want to get it to, but that's not where it has to start. So your standing cross crunches, you can almost use those as a warm-up. They are a simple enough move, good activation on the core, fires the legs, fairly gentle to do. Cross-country skiers, another great cardio move. In fact, according to the American College of Sports Medicine, cross-country skiing is the #1 cardiovascular exercise you can do. So you want to burn the maximum amount of calories in the minimum amount of time. You want to get total body workout in. Cross-country skiers, skiing is the deal. Our modification of it for dry land and no snow is very simple. So legs, forward and back. Little hop, switch the leg position. Even if you, sometimes people struggle, what do I do with my arms? I'm just going to relax my arms. Let the legs go. And you see how the arms just naturally start to work? Just go with it. Very, very simple move. Now, once again, we've got our no impact version. No impact. Now, no impact has another challenge built in. It's actually harder than the full range motion because you've got the balance component here. So, when you're doing this, I always put my people close to a wall, a window, something that will not move if they lean on it because they've lost balance. Take advantage of that. Put yourself in a safe position. Do not be doing this where, oh, there's a sharp coffee table there, and there's a brick fireplace right there. I smack my head on that. Big problem. So, safe surroundings. We've got some room, something that you can hold on to or lean on to if you need for balance. So we've added in the cross-country skiers, the standing cross crunch, and the third one is one of my favorite core moves that you can build on. All sorts of variations and add-ons to it once you get the basic, which is that V hold that we talked about last week. And on this, you're seated. I'm going to show you the V hold first and then the modifications that we can do with it. One, V hold. You're going to lean back, heels come up off the ground, keep the core nice and tight right here. Very simple. Not for everybody. Put the heels down and lean back. That's going to make it a little bit easier. So if you're just getting started, don't feel those heels have to come up. Start here in a nice seated position. Lean back slightly and just hold. If you feel that core working, you're in a good range. You can always next week or next month go back further and hold it, or get to the point you bring your feet up. You can do all those things. But the first thing you have to do is build up the base level of strength. So, leaning back. Now, if you noticed a couple times I've grabbed my knees. Why do I do that? It takes the tension off the core. So if you're doing this and you're like, man, I'm dying here, grab the knees. Get a couple good breaths of air in until you're somewhat recovered. Let go again. I've got people every 10 seconds are grabbing their knees, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as they build up to the point where a few weeks down the road it's 15 seconds, and then it's 20. So we're looking for a lifetime of fitness, a good progression, showing that you're making progress. 5 to 10 minutes, 3 times a week. Great place to start. You get to the point where that's okay, you take it to 10 to 15. Realistically, if you get a half-hour workout in, that's long enough. You don't need to go to a gym for an hour. You don't need to be totally psychotic in your workouts. Gentle, easy movements that challenge the body with great form are the secret to seeing long-lasting results. Now, if you put this together with some good eating, now, good eating does not mean, oh, it tastes good. It should taste good, but there's a lot of things that taste good that are really just flat out bad for you. I think you know what I'm talking about. I'm an expert in those. I've eaten most of them for a good chunk of my life, and I got the body that comes along with that. So we may talk a little bit about some eating as we get further down the road. In fact, I think I'll make a handout available to you that you can download. It'll be a free handout. You won't need to do anything other than go to the link and get the free handout. So I'll get that put together. We will put it in the next video, the link, so that you can access that information. And I'm Keith Duncan with Fitness Finally here in Georgetown. On behalf of the Scott County Public Library, I want to thank you for being with us and tell you get your exercise going. Thank you.